I don't support divorce, but I will always support divorce in the area of domestic violence. Either the man or the woman, nowadays, men will claim that they were beaten by their wife. I saw one on Facebook, and the man plastered his eye. He wrote all sorts of things about the beating, how the woman came to him because he was looking on phone and just slapped him, and again and again. It might be true, but the way the narration was like, nobody was like believing him. So especially when he put the picture of the wife was small and beaten up. I also saw one on Facebook where a small lady like that was beating up this young man. And sometimes I don't like talking about it because it's a no-go area. It's a taboo to lay blame on someone who was beaten. You see, but I want to say one thing, and that point is that it takes two to fight. It takes two to make this mistake. I have conducted a research and I have read one or two articles about this, a research that was conducted, that majority of the men does not trigger for nothing. Especially these people who have this mindset of temper. Something has to trigger them. Force is created by something. That something don't just happen. And therefore, for a man or a woman to be emotionally moved, to react and create domestic violence. And in this video, I'm not just going to tell you that something pushed that person, but how to avoid it. I know you may know, but how come you know this and you are falling into it now and over again? I'm not talking to you if you have not been beaten or if you have never experienced such a thing, but don't think you're free. Know this, that anytime you engage yourself into an argument, it's a red line. And if you are not married yet, always ask your husband or your wife, what are your red lines? What are your red buttons? You see, people will always claim, I am angel, I am this, I am always calm. You see, some people who are very, very positive about themselves, they are deceitful. Deliver yourself from such thing if you are one. Nobody said you shouldn't tell good about yourself, but be sincere. You have some red buttons. And the problem is that some of us don't even know our red buttons until they explode. Don't let things escalate before you know how to deal with your red buttons. So knowing the red buttons in your life will help your partner, will help you too. Because until it is said, there will be no doing. Let me say, if your wife knows that arguing with you in the area of money, like I do tell my wife, oh, this is my red button, expenses, especially now that I am a beginner in the area of trying to build up. We are fighting to take our family to another level, both financially and otherwise. So I will always tell my wife that expenditures are my red buttons. So she already know. So when she want to talk about expenses, she kind of bend her mouth. I will notice it that my queen is trying to talk about money, but I already know. And I will also acknowledge the fact that she is bending her mouth or trying to put it in a different way. It's already a be careful flag to me. Don't just start. Don't just start this your nonsense. Don't do that. Be careful. Don't trample on her own nerves too. Because if you misuse her attempt to be nice, you will lose it. So she already know my red buttons. I have more of them. I'm sincere to even include the ones that I think I have dealt with. You must have red buttons. You are a human being. Then tell it to yourself and be sincere to your wife or your husband. If she's going there, you tell her, I told you, here is my red buttons. Here are my weak points. And so when you already know your red buttons, your weak points, let your partner know. And when your partner knows, and you who knows his or her red buttons and his or her weaknesses, and you are trading there, you are looking for trouble. You are looking for trouble and you will find it. That is the funny part of it. You may find it sooner than you think. Because women's mouths, they can run their mouth emotionally. I've seen men who run their mouth too. If you know that your husband is hot-tempered and you didn't want to work on it, you didn't want to look for solution earlier, you saw or you heard your husband reacting somewhere, you heard him or you saw him reacting as like a machine, and you think you are free, one day it will happen to you. My advice is that if you are living with a man who is hot-tempered, you will know. So even though he hasn't beaten you or he hasn't ever, touched you one day, but hence the man is doing somehow outside, you saw his reaction, you perceive it that is abnormal, start to work on it. There are formulas on how to deal with it. As you do that, don't engage yourself into an argument. Don't be Mrs. Right or Mr. Right and end up becoming Mrs. Injury or Mr. Injury. Argument, it starts like joke, like play. I have had an argument with my wife just on movie, just ordinary movie. My wife is saying it from another angle. I'm saying it from another angle. And the second line of it, I was like, be careful. I told Satan, be smarter than Satan. If your wife or your husband starts, you withdraw. It's important for us to know that it takes two to be engaged into fight. Men will hardly just come home and start to beat their wife. Let's under influence of alcohol. So it's just a piece of advice because I saw one recently and it pisses me off. And those who watches it even on social media will see it and still fall into it again and again and again. And hello, you the beater, please be careful. One day you will beat and die. One day you will you will do the last beating of your life. Repent, please. And you, the one that orchestrates that beating, you know yourself. Because it's he or she that makes other people to fall into temptation. If you have spoken or triggered your husband or your wife to beat you, you are cursed. Don't do it. Repent too. And you, the beater, it's better you cut off that your hand or build a certain kind of wall. When you are angry, you go and punch a wall, and then your temper will calm down. It will soak up. So thank you for watching. I have another video for it, and continue to watch, share. Continue to watch and share, and please click the like button so that I will know that someone visited, or comment down below. Thank you so much. Bye.